Do you ever finish something and immediately want more? Another potato chip, bottle of beer, or pipe of opium? When you finish something good, you can't help but want more of it. It's only natural. It's what every red-blooded American feels. And I, Jonathan Rosenblum, head game critic at Tibbs TV, am no exception, especially when it comes to DeathLoop. I loved DeathLoop. I loved the game, I loved the world, I loved the main characters, but not really the side characters, and I really enjoyed the multiplayer. In fact, I even liked the NPCs in this game. That is how much I like this game. And the cherry on top of all of this is the music is some of the best ever. I want to hear the transition from chase to chill as much as any addict wants another hit of that sweet, sweet H. When I finished DeathLoop, I thought to myself, okay, now I'm gonna go back and 100% it, get the secret ending. The problem was, I kinda did it all. Not 100% of it, I didn't get all the guns and maybe didn't read every single document, but after beating this game, you're left wanting to know so much more about the world and its characters. And there really aren't any side quests to satisfy that craving. The main story takes you pretty much everywhere you're gonna go, including some of the more secret and hidden spots. It's good stuff, it kept me interested. It's not really so much an assassination game as it is a detective game. And the world is so fun, it felt like a softened BioShock. Sure, there are drug-addicted psychos who kill for fun and huff gas, but there's no death in this world, so huff and kill away. And the funny thing is, as you play through each loop, and you see the snapping necks of the Eternals, and their heads blink out of existence with a pistol shot, it takes the edge off the horrific murder. Soon, the grotesque violence doesn't even bother you, and you begin to have a whole lot of fun. And all this atmosphere is amplified by the environments at which you murder in. The result is that you sink into this beautiful world the devs sunk countless hours into. But by the end of the game, you will have gone through those worlds one too many times. It's true that each zone changes slightly as the day moves on, and some of the best dialogue in the game is in zones with no major events happening in it, but it almost feels crazy to me to put all this content there, but not give players a real reason to go back. There are some special weapons to find, but no weapon is better than the silenced pistol and the best sniper rifle. No power-up is really better than Blink. And those weapon quests, while good, are only a small chunk of the game. And the real problem with this game is that it asks the player to replay it, but they don't give a reason to. Nothing's going to really change between one gameplay loop of DeathLoop to the next. If you want to kill all 8 Visionaries, which is the point of this game, there is only one path you can take. Sure, it takes a while to get on that path, but there's no option or real craft to killing these targets. Like I said earlier, it's way more of a detective game, but instead of solving some murder, you're supposed to solve the mystery of the time loop by investigating these mysterious 8 Visionaries. The problem is you'd never really interact with these people outside of the moments where they flee at your presence or start attacking you instantly. Compare that to a game like Dishonored, where there are multiple ways to get rid of every single target, some non-violent, others incredibly violent. To better illustrate what I'm talking about, let's look at probably the best character in the game, 2-Bit. Half a genius with only half a brain. But he shares the same ability that the 2 main characters share. He remembers previous time loops. Which, by the way, if you didn't already get that vibe, DeathLoop is a classic time loop game. You die and you wake up at the start of the day. When the day ends, you go back to the start of the day as well. It doesn't break the mold, but it holds par with the best time loops in the genre, like Groundhog Day, Live, Die, Repeat, and Russian Doll. I wish there were some more features that played with the concept of a time loop in a video game. Like, I would love to know how many times I looped in total before I broke it. But 2-Bit is a little bit of an exception to those loops. He remembers every loop, but he's different from the main characters in the fact that he is incredibly dumb. And the game kind of encourages you to gaslight him in cool, neat ways that result in him killing the people that he cares about most. He changes your run depending on how you treat him in previous loops, and the result is that you want to replay his level to see all the different options. Not that there needs to be some meta element to every character. There doesn't. There just needs to be characters that you can actually talk to. You got good writers. Just give us more of that. This game feels like the first Dishonored in the best way possible. There's smooth gameplay set in a world that you actually want to explore. But this game also feels like Dishonored 1 in the sense that it feels like the first game in a series, instead of a masterful culmination of everything Arcane learned throughout the Dishonored franchise. Like, imagine if they had an interconnected world instead of separate levels. The time loop was more similar to Majora's Mask and simply ran throughout the day as you traverse between those levels. Or maybe they put in a better parkour system like in Dying Light, so you had to run between assassinations, kill targets in transit, or simply not have Blink always equipped. Because let's be real, it's the strongest power by far. You are left with all these what-ifs when it comes to DeathLoop, and I feel like that's the reason critics like it. It's a solid game with a great vibe, and on its own, it looks great, but fans didn't love it because it doesn't feel like the next-gen Dishonored people were hoping for. With the Game Standard here at Tibbs TV, I'm Jonathan Rosenblum.